The Fujifilm X100VI. It's a camera that everyone is talking about.
X100VI.
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 With over 500,000 pre-orders, thousands of videos online, hundreds of thousands of views, and a camera that seemingly you just can't get your hands on. At this point, seeing the X100VI on the street is like seeing a wild bird. And so you watch all these videos, you read all these articles, you see all these reviews. So what do? When you just can't get your hands on something that everyone wants, do you spend thousands of dollars more and try to get what is unattainable? Or would you do this? I turned my X-T4 into an X100. This is the 27mm f2.8 pancake lens from TTArtisans. With the X100VI being sold out and backordered, I decided to take matters into my own hand, and I transformed my Fujifilm XT4 into an X100VI. Now I know some of you are going to be saying this is a joke, or it's just an attempt to get views from a trending product. And the truth is, this is kind of how this started. But I never expected a $200 lens to be this good. So here's exactly how it happened. I got this lens from Amazon. I wanted a 27mm pancake lens to get the feeling of shooting with an X100 camera. How does it feel like to only have one focal length that is approximately 23mm or 27mm on a crop sensor? A few days ago, this lens arrived in the mail, and I went out and I put the small 93-gram lens on my X-T4. The first thing I noticed is that it does have an aperture ring, just like any XF lens. Now, is it a great aperture ring? No, not really. But it does act like an XF lens and simulates the feeling of switching apertures. Well, what about the focus ring? To be honest, the focus ring was actually one of the best parts of this lens. It is large, it is easy to rotate, and it does the job perfectly. And you're going to be very surprised when you know that this lens is available for the Sony E mount, the Nikon Z mount, and Fujifilm's X mount. But again, this is a $200 lens. It is a lens that pretty much any photographer can get their hands on. So, what's the catch here? It's a $200 lens. It is not of the highest quality. Why am I talking about it? The autofocus on this lens is not fast. Let's be real. The autofocus is pretty slow and it does a bit of focus hunting. And if you try to shoot at anything lower than f8, you will notice in these corners there's some strong vignetting. Yes, it is very noticeable. But at some point it started to feel that it gives it a certain charm to the photos. And yes, the corners are pretty soft, but it is pretty sharp around the center. Let's not forget about the 39mm diameter of this lens, which is super small. One thing that I do want to mention as well is that this lens is not weather sealed. And yes, I am using it in a snowstorm. Even though this lens is made of metal and it is sturdy, this lens was just not made for crazy weather. So you're gonna ask me, why should I get this lens? Why should I even consider this lens? If you are on a tight budget, you just can't get your hands on an X100VI or any X100 camera, here's what you do. You buy a pancake lens, you put it on your Fujifilm camera, there you go. You have all the film recipes, you have better features than an X100 camera, and now you have a fake X100. I personally did not expect much from this TTArtisan's 27mm f2.8, but after using it for a few days, I found that it was very, very fun. It made me enjoy going out to shoot, and it was the first time in a long time where I actually started doing street photography again. And this is the story of how I made my own X100 VI.